Welcome back. I'm John Cole Morgan and it's Block of the Week. We had a slight malfunction. We couldn't quite get both of these on. Our little pole that we had fell off and broke. So we've got one of the rulers up, one of the quilts up. So this is the rainbow, have we called this Blossom? This is the Blossom colourway here. And I'm going to be very artistic and put this on as well. Sorry, that's the rainbow one. I keep getting these confused. And this is our Blossom colourway here. Absolutely adore these new blocks of the week. I'm very, very proud of these. So I'll show you those in more detail now. But what we're going to first do is recap our lovely early bird. Isn't this the most wonderful way? You're getting 36 of these fabulous embroidery flosses. They are so amazing. They're working out at 22 pence per skein. But the great thing is you've got these wonderful variegations through each one of these different threads. They are really, really special. And I love the way you've got these really bright, vibrant pinks and reds and oranges. Look at that gorgeous orange. But as you pull them out, you can see you're going from a really bright, vibrant orange here. And then as you progress through the skein, you see you're going down to this wonderful, subtle, light peach, back up to that beautiful, beautiful deep orange. It's a really, really lovely product, this. I love these. And it's great to be able to do as a little addition. And I was just looking at this now and I'm thinking with our lovely rainbow colourway, there's quite a lot of teals and greens. And I was looking at that and I was thinking, gosh, any form of embroidery you wanted to do, it would work really, really well with that. So I can show you on these. This is our colourway for our rainbow. You can tell there, look how beautiful these threads work on there. Even I'm just looking there, that pink one would work so beautifully as well. I love these little threads, they're very sweet. And then we've got that purple and pink which ties that block in beautifully with that block too. It's just a nice way to be able to do a nice little embellishment or do something slightly different than you normally do at such a great price. Yours obviously will look a lot nicer than this. I've been playing with them and pulling them all apart, but you can see each and every one comes there. How many meters in each of these? Is it 8? 8 meters in each skein, that's it, yes. So there's 8 meters of thread in each one of these, and you've got that wonderful variegation. And I think it is 4 strands. Excuse me while I count them. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 strands in each of these. So they've got 6 strands in them, and they're 8 meters. So it's such a lot of thread as well. And the colours are so beautiful. So last week, I know everybody was expecting block 3, but it was Christmas. Santa was coming. So we had to then go and do our Christmas special because it was Christmas and it was me and I was there and I couldn't. I was like too excited about Christmas. So thank you for being so patient with us doing blocks 3 and 4 this week. It's just, I love block of the week. Really, really. But you've got a double special now today. So let me show you what we've done, what we're doing today. We're going to be doing block 3. So this is our Blossoms colourway. We've got 2 colourways in this quilt. This is what you're going to be getting today when you get your block. So you're going to get your panel and you're going to get your set of instructions. And that's your moving on up block of the week 3. There we go. And then your panel is going to look like this. This is how big your panel is this week. That's for block 3. Now the great thing with this is what we've done is we wanted to make sure that people could choose their own background colours. So what we've done is each one of these kits, each one of the block of the weeks, you're going to need to buy 2.5 meters of your background fabric. And the background fabric, you can choose what you like. So that's for the whole quilt. I need to double check, but I think it was 1.2 meters you needed for your borders and your sashings. So if you were looking to see how much fabric you needed to buy to make the blocks as you go, you'd need to buy, I think it's, what's 1.2? My math is, you need to buy 1.3 meters to be able to make the quilt blocks, all 16 of them, and then 1.2 meters for the border and the sashing, as I recall. I'll double check that later on today, but as far as I'm aware, that's right. And then the background fabric, what's so great then is once you've got the 2.5 meters of background fabric, you've got it. It's not going to change. There's no color variations. It's all yours. And you can do that with a wonderful, wonderful collection of fabrics that we've got. We've got these as today as a special, but I'll bring those up to you in a moment and show you where you are. So this is our Blossoms colorway. Now, one of the best tips that I've had asked, what do they all look like? What we did is we printed out each one of these fabrics, stitch them together in order for you here, and what you'll be able to see now is that is fabric 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the great thing is we're able to zoom in on these and you'll be able to see all of the details on these wonderful fabrics for you to be able to know exactly what it is that you're going to be getting on these. Because I think it's quite nice to be able to see exactly where you are. So that is what the fabrics look like. You've got the instructions and the panel. So block 3 in this colorway looks like that. And that's now with a cream background. And you can see that is just so beautiful. I love that. I think that's really, really pretty. So that is our block 3 in the Blossom colorway. Let me now show you with a cream background. So we've done it in 3 colorways. We've chosen white, cream and black. So that was the cream background there. Now we've also got today the Moving On app block 3, but in the rainbow colorway. So this is the instructions here. So your background colors, again, we've given you the 3 colorways options of black, white, or cream. That is right. Yes, I thought I got that right. But we give you a panel every week that'll look. They'll just vary different each week. That's how much you're getting on this week's panel. And then you'll be able to see the fabrics that you're getting for the whole quilt there. I'm not sure how to put this out because if I do that, maybe. There we go. So that's what the panel looks like, and you're getting the wonderful set of instructions there for week 3. Now the block we're going to make this week, let me show you what the block looks like this week. We've chosen to do this in a white colorway, and we'll mix and match these as we go along, because I like to give you all the options and show you what it is you can make out of them in different colors and what it looks like. So this is what the blocks looks like in the white colorway. But also we were asked, what do all the colours look like because obviously we haven't used all the colours yet. So just double checking I've got these the right way round. Right, I haven't. So that one is fabric 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Brilliant. So that is what you're going to be able to make. That's what the colours look like. This is the rainbow colourway there. Now the colourways that we've matched this with, we've got 2 different ways that you can purchase this. You can either buy them in our wonderful 2.5 metre bundles that we've provided for you. We've got that available for you in the white. So we've got the white in 2.5 metres. So that is enough to make the borders, the sashing, all of the quilts, everything you need for the front of the quilt. 2.5 metres, and that's going to be £17.45. Now these are also available by the half metre. So if you did just want to buy as you go, you want to buy the white as you go, you're welcome to do that as well. And those are available then for £3.49 a half metre. So do check the website on for that. We've also got this available for you in the cream. So you can see there's a lovely colourway there with the cream. That's also 2.5 metres there, £17.45. And again, if you did want to buy these by the half metre as you go, most welcome to do. Perhaps you're just buying 1 block and wanting to make 1 block, you need ½ metre of that to go as your background fabric. We've also got those available on the website now for £3.49. Just have a search on our website for cream fabric and it'll pop up for you. Then our last choice we've got today is our black fabric background, which I think is just so contemporary and has worked so, so well. And I've got some examples to show you for the previous weeks we've done there. 2.5 metres of the black fabric. We've got that then also for £17. Is it £17.45? We're just double checking the graphic now. See, what I love about the dark background, and I'm jumping ahead as well, while we find that, I did week 2 with our black background, and just look how that pops. It absolutely just pops so beautifully there, whereas we did the same one with the white in week 2, and it pops as well, but you can just tell the black really shows those fabrics up so beautifully. I'm going to have to put these on here. I'm running out of fingers there, but you can see the black really highlights those fabrics so beautifully there. So for me, I love the blacks. I think they work really, really well. So what we're going to be making now, we're going to be doing 2 blocks today. We're doing our block 3. So these are block 3 that we've got here. These are the 2 different colorways that we've chosen to do today. So that's going to be what we're making then. Don't they look so different with the different fabrics there? I think they're fab. So that is our block 3. Now we've also got our block 4 today. And block 4 is same as before. You're getting a wonderful set of instructions. Let me lay the panel out first. We're going to start with the blossom colorway. Got the blossom colorway here for block 4. And you can see it's a good size panel. If I got it into the shot, that would be helpful. There we go. So you can see it's a really good size panel that. You're also getting the wonderful set of instructions. The great thing about the instructions is there are loads of pictures. You've got loads of different diagrams on how you do it, and you've got the fabric key at the back so that you know when I refer to fabric 2 in my pattern over here, fabric 2, fabric 2 is there, fabric 3 is there, fabric 3 is there. You then know exactly which fabric we're talking about because you've got that wonderful key at the back to be able to do it. So that is our blossoms colorway that we've got there. And then we've also got our rainbow colorway. Our blossoms colorway is proving to be the most popular at the moment. I love the rainbow, but I think it's the black colorway is definitely at the background is definitely proving to be the most popular as well. So you're getting the wonderful set of instructions, same set of instructions with all the pictures and details on how to do it, and the background fabrics to the key to go. You're getting this wonderful set of panels here, and you do end up with fabric left over. So if you do make mistakes, don't worry, it's absolutely fine. You've got enough left over for you. And then you're going to be making, for your block 4 today, we are making these blocks. So this is the blossom, and we've done this with a cream background there. That's our blossom block there. And then we've got our rainbow block here as well. And you can tell, if you want to see this in the quilt, where it's going, you can tell just there. That's what we're making today. That's our block for the day. One of the blocks for today. So that we're going to... Now with me, I'm very lucky because I've already made these. I can then keep these here to refer to them as I go along. So we're going to first do block 3. I'm going to pop those there. And then I'm going to just pop blocks 2 and 1 next to each other as well, just so we can count them up as we go. Very proud of these, they're great. What I love about these is there's so many people getting involved on social media with them. It's great to be able to see what everybody's doing and the different colours people have chosen. I saw some really fabulous combinations of colours as well with people doing. So one lady was doing claret, a beautiful, beautiful claret as a background, which I think is really lovely. Now, because we've got a double whammy today, I've been very good and I've actually gone and prepared my block and done a little bit of the work beforehand. So my block 3, I'm doing in my rainbow colorway for my block 3. So what I've done here is try to make my life a little bit easier. You'll cut these all out as per the instructions, the measurements, etc., all there. And I do suggest every single time 2 things, I'm going to move this down a little bit, is when I cut my border piece off, you'll see it's named everywhere. I keep those very nearby together with my panel here. And the reason being is it's very, very easy to get confused as to what it is that you're looking at. So I keep these very close to hand, just over here, so I know if I'm referring to fabric 2, that's what it should look like. If I'm looking for fabric 5, that's what it should look like. If I'm looking for fabric 3, that's what it should look like. And it just makes my life that little bit easier to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes. Now with this block, what I loved about it is you're going to make 5 of one block and you're going to make 4 of another. So today I'm going to make 2 of each so you know what it is that you're doing. Now this one, I wanted to make sure that I showed you this because we've had some questions in the past about accurate cutting. Now this one I think shows quite well because what I'd done is I wanted to make sure that I showed you here. Can I just, sorry, so where we've got this here, you're going to be doing a 1/4 of an inch seam. So you can see over here, I've cut the fabric on purpose like that, and the reason being is as I lay this ruler on top of it, you can see that it is within the 1/4 of an inch. So I'm still going to be able to sew that without there being any problem at all. That little blue bit of fabric there is not going to show through on my fabric. It's not going to be any problem at all. So when you sew these together, you just then are able to make sure that you're absolutely fine. If you have cut it with a little bit of excess, you're absolutely fine. You don't need to worry. This little green fabric is directional. Some of them are. I've moved mine and made them all different. My green ones I'm going to try and make the same. So I'm going to have that one pointing to the middle and I'm having that one pointing out. The green ones, this green one's not directional and the pink isn't directional. So as you go through the steps of the pattern, it advises you to make these 4 patches the same each time. So I'm going to start by making this one over here. And all you're going to do is you just be consistent on it. I fold these and I put them next to my sewing machine and I fold them, and then I know that everything that I'm folding, that's the top. The top bit is what I'm sewing, and I'm sewing on this side. So when I put these all down like this, I know for everything that I now sew, I'm sewing with these on the top and I'm having my seam be on this side. Now when we've got so many of these to sew, I think that's quite a nice little tip, a nice little way of being able to do it. It just keeps you knowing what you're doing, especially if you're wanting to do chain piecing, because it's very easy to get confused with how you're doing your chain piecing. And all I'm doing now is sewing a 1/4 of an inch seam right down the side of this. I'm doing it 1 thread smaller than a 1/4 of an inch seam, but I'm being consistent all the way through my block here. Right, so now I've sewn all 4 of those together. Now I learnt this trick from somebody online the other day, which I thought was very clever. I'm going to finger press these because this is what they did, and I wanted to just show you the little trick that they had. So all I'm doing over here is I'm just finger pressing those open, but I'm leaving them connected, and then I'm finger pressing these. Now, as you know, I like to press my seams open. And all I do then is I flop these round, check that they're still going the right direction, and leaving that connected, I then put these together and make sure that my central seam is lined up there. Now, I know a lot of you won't want to do that. That was just something that I learnt and saw this week, and I'm absolutely besotted with it. I think it's a really lovely way of being able to do chain piecing, that your pieces remain together. And not bad, not bad. So then you can go and press those afterwards. Now traditionally what I used to do, and what I do suggest people do as well, now, pardon me, what you are doing, because I want my greens to be going the same way, so you can see these little arrows are pointing into the block, and these little arrows are Yes. These little arrows are pointing out. I just wanted to make sure I've got those in the right place. Now, the other product that we sell, that we use quite a lot, which I love, and you've seen me use before, is this lovely little roll and press. And the reason being is I haven't plugged the iron in. I forgot to plug the iron in, so there we go. So all I'm doing now is I'm pressing those seams open. This roll and press is such a lovely, lovely product to have. And it's perfect for now, where I just cannot go down and turn it and get it all sorted. So there we go, that's what I'm doing now. I press these seams open, I fold those on top of each other, make sure those are lined up beautifully. Those are lined up perfectly. At this point, if you're a pinner, you pin on either side of that seam. If you're a rogue like me and you don't want to pin, you don't have to. But you will probably get a better seam if you do pin it. Now over here, you remember I said to you that I've got a piece of fabric that I'd cut incorrectly on purpose, that I was going to be burying in my seam. We just get a bit closer to that and I can show you. So you can see where I cut that little bit of blue fabric, you can see my green. That, when I fold that open, oh my goodness, that was a perfect point. You can see you can't see any of that error at all. So as long as you're within that 1/4 of an inch, you're not going to have any problems. Now you're going to make 5 of these, and when you want to see how they look in the quilt, you can see you've got 5 here. You're making 2 of these, you're making 2 of these, and you're making 1 of those. So you're going to make 5 of those in total, just in different colorways, and then we're going to make 4 of these blocks. Now these, you cut out the half square the triangles as per the instructions, and what you're going to do then is you're going to make sure, if you want to use Best Press, go ahead, that's the best thing to use. It's a lovely product and it does get that nice little bit of stabilizer going for you. And then all you're going to do is let the machine do the work for you. Don't press, pull, tug. You just let the machine gently guide your fabric through the machine. And I've got a tiny little ripple developing, so all you do is lift your foot up. And there we go. And then I'm going to just make 4 of those. So there we go. We've had a message in from Sandra. Morning. She says, good morning, John. Oh, her first attempt at quilting is my moving on quilt. That's so lovely. And she's been patiently waiting for blocks 3 and 4 to be demonstrated. Oh, I'm so pleased. And it's Friday, and it's demo, and it's a double whammy. Thank you, Sandra. That's lovely to hear. Thank you. And please share pictures on our social media platforms. I love seeing what people are making and with the different products. It's really lovely. And as you get more confident, you just let your machine have a little bit of welly and off it goes and you're all sorted. Now I've managed to plug my iron in now, so I can now press these all. There we go. And now this is block 3 that we're doing now, but don't forget, all of the blocks are available, so you can join in at any time. Even the previous block of the month, block of the week quilt is available. You can get all of those on the website. Just type in block and week, and you'll get all the search options on there. And don't forget, all of the videos of all the demonstrations are all available on YouTube. Those are all available in our playlist. Each one of the block of the weeks have got a playlist. The first one was called New Beginnings. Second one is called Moving On Up. And what the idea is that each one of these quilts is to be able, each of the blocks is to be able to improve your skills every week. Now, if you are doing your half square triangles and you're pressing them, I'll try and press it that way so you can see a bit more. I always set my seams, and of course, oh, I put a little bit too much base press on there, but that's okay. It's going to smell lovely. It's got the lovely lavender smell to it there. Oh, that's beautiful. So all I'm doing there, now with the half square triangles, if you set your seams, it is very, very simple. You can just go with the nose of your iron and you just gently guide across that seam there. You can see I'm just very gently, and once I've done that, I do that. I'm just going to turn my steam off because I don't need quite so much steam. Oh, and I'm loving it. I'm hearing people are buying block 1 today as well for the first time. Lovely to have you. Thank you. So all you're doing there again, now I'm not going to use quite so much base press then. I got a little bit carried away. Just give that a nice little squirt there. And this block does come together quite easily and quickly. And it's a really nice way of being able to make sure that you are practicing your 1/4 inch seams. You're making sure you're getting a nice, good, scant 1/4 inch. One thing I've just realized I didn't do, some of you may be doing this triangle for the first time. So let me just do one very, very quick public service announcement, if you like. On your 1/4 inch, when you're sewing a 1/4 inch, when you do your stitching, okay, so when you are stitching a 1/4 inch seam, normally, well, let me show you on this triangle, this square over here. When you're stitching a 1/4 inch seam, you can see over here, that is probably a little bit too narrow. That's what we call a very scant 1/4 inch. So where you've got the dotted line, that's meant to be your seam line. And then you can see just under here, I'm going to put my lovely owls from the 11 o'clock hour underneath there. I'm going to get a little, because it's quite hard to show you white on white fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. There we go. So you can see by doing that, aren't these owls stunning? Check the 11 o'clock hour, they're beautiful. Now what you're doing there is you can see that that little dark line over there is meant to be your 1/4 inch seam. And if I line that up on where the seam actually is, you can see that I've gone 2 or 3 threads in from the edge to be able to do my seam. That is what we call a scant 1/4 inch. And we're wanting to make sure that when you do your scant 1/4 inch, the reason you do it is then when you're finished doing your sewing and you've then folded the fabric back, that the fold is included in the 1/4 inch. Because if you sewed dead on a 1/4 inch, then folded the fabric over. So if I've got my fabric and I fold it over, you can tell if I fold over there, and I know it seems silly, but the height of that fold between my fingers, it may only be 2 or 3 threads, but 2 or 3 threads along your block, you could end up with a 1/4 inch difference. So where people have had blocks that have come out at a 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch difference, sometimes that's to do with your pressing and your 1/4 inch seam or your cutting. It's those 3 things usually. So I always tell people when you're doing half square triangles, sew a scant 1/4 inch, and by that you'll see you've got where your seam line is, it's just there. You can see I've gone just into there. I'm not sure if we can get closer on that. Paul is zooming in as we talk. Sorry about this, Paul. So you can see you've got that where the black line is, that is your 1/4 inch. So you're then looking to go 1 or 2 threads away to be able to sew that when you fold this block open, it's exactly a 1/4 inch including the fold. So that's what we want to make sure that we're doing. So then once we've done all of that, we line all the blocks up as to how they're meant to be sewn. And then you sew them into blocks of 3. So I've already sewn this one together. And the way that I did that is I literally just popped that on top there, lined them up perfectly. You can see they matched perfectly there. And all I do is I now sew down this line over here. Just doing a normal 1/4 inch seam down there. And then that's going to go there. And then I'm going to sew this block. You can see those 2 I've just sewn. Now I'm just going to sew that onto there. And then this one I'm going to sew onto here as well. It's because I like my chain piecing. I like my chain piecing. So I line these up brilliant, perfectly there. pulled that off before it had finished cutting the thread. And then what you do is you'll just press those how you want, whether the seam's open or to the dark side. And all you'll do then is you'll sew this one to there and this one to there. Now I would show you that, but I'd like to get onto block 4. I want to be able to show you both. I hope that shows you exactly how it is you do blocks 3 and 4 there. So we're now going to be we've demoed this in the block 3 of the rainbow colorway. So, but don't forget we've also got the block 3 blossom bundle. So this is the one that I demoed in with the white background. Remember, you've got the 2.5 meter bundle that you're buying for your background. That was the one I've demoed in. But I've also got available the blossom. This is the blossom colorway, and I've used the cream background for that. Just works so, so beautifully together there. So this is the blossom colorway there, and don't forget for each one that you get, you're going to get the panel. Let me put the panel out for the blossom. The panel out for the blossom. And then the instructions, and that will make, oops, that block once you've got your additional background fabric in for that. You're going to need 2.5 meters in total for your additional background fabric, and those are available on the website as well, and you'll only need to do that purchase once. You won't need to buy that again. If you did want to get the rainbow bundle there, let me remind you what the rainbow looks like here. That's what I was demonstrating in with a white background. That's what our rainbow looks like, and you're going to get the wonderful set of instructions available as well. $7.99 for that kit today. And a great thing is you can join it at any time. These fabrics are completely exclusive to Sewing Street. Can't get them anywhere else. So now we're going to do our block 4. So our block 4 is this block that we're going to be making here. And I know I have my block 4. There we go. So my block 4, we're doing this in the blossom colorway today. So that's the one I'm making there, the blossom. And I'm doing that with a cream background. So I'll show you the rainbow panel first for the block 4. This is our rainbow. Oh, I think I've got the wrong panel here. I was showing the wrong panel earlier. Apologies for that. They're the same size, just different colors. So this is your block 4 colorway there for block 4, the panel. And you're getting the set of instructions there for the rainbow. And then if you wanted it in the... What have I done with my block 4? You know when you put something on a table and you can't find it? Probably because it's folded up over here. Sorry, everyone. There we go. So this is now the blossom colorway. Sorry about that. You know what it's like. You've got a big table full of stuff, lots to think about, and you can't find the one thing you're looking for. Happens to everyone. We've all done it. So there we go. That's your block 4 blossom color panel and the set of instructions as well. Now these, what I've done here is I have cut out everything for you in advance. You're going to start off with your central square, and I'm going to just make sure I keep looking at the block made already. And then you're going to put the 2 sides on. This is how you will build the block. So you'll first sew these 2 on, and then you're going to sew the top and the bottom on. Then you're going to sew 2 more sides on. And then you've got top and bottom. And then you've got your fabrics here. Now each one of these fabrics is numbered not only in the pattern, but also on the fabric key. I'll just move these a little bit closer. And then last but not least, we've got these outer pieces over here. Now, one thing just to notice is I cut these the wrong size. This is patchwork. It doesn't matter. And I didn't want to waste fabric. So all I did was the piece that I had left over on that strip, I just sewed it onto the edge. You can't even tell. So if you do make a mistake, remember this is patchwork. The whole point of patchwork is to take fabric, cut it up and sew it back together. So don't worry about it if you make a mistake. Just literally sew one of your scrap bits on the edge of that to make it be the right size. If you cut it too small, add a little bit on. And then last but not least, you're going to put those on at the top and on at the bottom. And that's what we're going to do. I also then, for each of the blocks that I've got and each of the blocks that I've made, I cut out my selvage at the top, and the selvage at the top has got fabric 7, 9, 4, 3 and 8. I cut those out because it's always good to have those available, especially when you're cutting your fabrics. I always put that at the top of my cutting mat there, so when I get confused and the pattern tells me I want to need fabric 7, I know that I go and I cut fabric 7, and that's what fabric 7 looks like. It just makes your life that little bit easier being able to do it. Now, 1/4 of an inch seam is really, really important here. What I would say to you is take some, you've got a lot of selvage left on this, you've got a lot of this lovely white fabric left on the side, take that and practice with it. Cut these strips out and just sew it together in the white to be able to make sure that your 1/4 inch seam is important, and I'll show you why. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the central square and we're sewing these onto the side of it. And you're going to do that on both sides. And the reason I tell you to practice first, I will show you why in just a moment. So I've sewn that now on the right-hand side, and then I'm going to sew the other one on the left-hand side. And I always tell people when you're doing this block, it's important to practice for 2 reasons. If you practice and you get it right, then at the beginning 2 stages, it will flow and be completely correct for the rest of it. Now on this block, unusually for me, I don't press my seams open. I literally just roll this back. I can't move it anymore. So all I'm doing is I'm rolling the fabric there and I'm just pulling it back and I'm just putting that there. So you can see all I've done is I've rolled it back and I'm just letting the iron do the work for me. Now the reason I'm doing this, and it's important to just press them, you can press it how you like, I just find that this is the easiest way. And now is the test to know if you've done it correctly, because if you've done this correctly, this piece here is going to line up perfectly. Now, over here, it doesn't, and it's slightly out. And over here, it's also slightly out. Now, that isn't a problem. I'm just telling you the reason that this has gone out is because I purposely made this seam a little bit bigger, and I made this seam a little bit bigger as well. And by a little bit, it is literally 1 thread. But if you look at this, you can tell that 1 thread on each side, 2 threads on each side, makes 3/4 threads over here. So I've got a little bit out. And that's okay, but as you do that throughout the block, your block will come in a lot smaller. So that's why I tell you to practice it, because when you have a piece that's slightly smaller, it just means that you've then got to center it. So you'll see what I'll do is over here, I will center that, so I'm 1 thread too small there and 1 thread too small there, and I'll put those on top, line that up, and then I will put that through the sewing machine. And the reason this is important is because you just need to make sure that the piece that goes onto the top and bottom, or the left and right, is exactly the right size for your block. Then you know that you've done the piece correctly. Your cutting's correct, your seam allowance is correct, and it's important to make sure that it is correct, because then your block will come out at the correct size. And if it doesn't come out at the correct size, it's not that big of a problem. It's just nice to know that you've done the best that you can, and it is one way of being able to make sure that it is perfect. And I don't want people beating themselves up or unpicking or doing anything like that. Realize why it's wrong. Remeasure everything, check your 1/4 inch. And once you've done that, It's not to criticize, it's to learn. It's for you to practice then and get better on it. And if it's only 1 or 2 threads, you can lose that in the seam allowance. And exactly the same as I did before, all I'm doing is I'm rotating the fabric and I'm just then letting the iron do the work for me, doing that nice and comfortably. So now, hopefully, when I put these two together, that is perfect. And that is perfect. And that's what you want. So even though this piece is slightly bigger, it doesn't matter, because when I pop that on the top here, you'll see that you've got a tiny little bit sticking out there. Doesn't matter. No one's going to see it. What matters is that this piece needs to fit in between there and work fine. Now over here, you'll see I'm a little bit short. And all I do then is I move my fabric to be in the middle, and that'll be fine. It's fixed. I hope that makes sense, because this is a very forgiving block. Brilliant. Now I'm not going to have time to finish the whole block for you, but what I've done is I've shown you the technique to do each and every one of these, and each time I'm folding these back, I'm just letting the nose of my iron fold that back ever so gently for me. There we go. And just like I did with the previous 2 sides, that piece there, oh my goodness, I've now nailed it. That is perfect. And then this one's going to go on here as well. And that one's exactly right as well. So all you're doing now is you're just going to repeat this process all the way around the block. I'll do these as the last 2 and then show you where we are then. But it's just such a nice block and a really nice way of being able to do something relatively simple, but this is where your accuracy of your cutting and your sewing needs to be really important, because it doesn't matter if the block's smaller, and if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter, but it's a really nice way, it's a really nice way of being able to show yourself how you've improved and how far you've come. Even from block 1, being able to check that your 1/4 inch seam is improving, your cutting's improving. It's just a nice way to be able to show that how far you've come on your little quilting journey with us. And with all of these little tips, you get better and better. And it doesn't matter how long you've been sewing for, you'll always learn something new. Somebody will always show you a different way of doing things. Because even this morning, Sally was showing me something and I had never thought of it. So clever, but so simple. So all I'm doing now is I'm setting my seams. I did give it a little squirt of best press just because I love the smell. And then rotating, using my the nose of my iron to get that out. And there we go. Oh, I've got a little bit of a dip there, but that doesn't matter. And there we go. So that's the whole process. I've done 2 of them. You've got 2. I've done 2 full rounds. You've got 2 full rounds to go. And all you're doing every single time you're trying to do this is you're lining these up, checking that they're going to match. That one matches perfectly. Once you've sewn those on, you then line this one up, and they'll match perfectly as well. And you just keep adding on to it every time to make sure that you get the right size when it finishes. And that is what the block's going to look like when it finishes there. So this is the blossom panel, block 4. Let me just remind you each of these panels what you're getting. Some of you may not have seen blocks 1 and 2, so let me remind you of how far we've come now. This is our block 2. oh, sorry, this is our block 1. This is the rainbow block 1, when we've done this with a white background there. You might need to have a little look on the website for that. We're having a few technical issues in the background. It happens. Thank you for bearing with us. So this is the rainbow block 1 pattern. This is the blossom block 1 pattern. We've done that there with a cream background, but we also wanted to make sure that we made it pop as well with a black background too. So we've got that available there. We also have bundles which have got blocks 1 to 4, so you can have all 4 of these blocks. So you will need to unfortunately search for each of the blocks on their own. Our website's having a little bit of a moment. We can't bring you all of those at the moment, so do check the website. So when I say the website, I mean our little internal thing here. We can't get them up on the screen right now, so check the website. They're all on there. Oh, I misunderstood. The graphics can... Oh, sorry, I misunderstood that completely. Sorry. The graphics on the screen at the moment are for your Blossoms panel. Let me show you Blossom. There we go. So we've got Blossom. This is now all with a cream background. Remember, you're going to need to get the cream separately. So that's your block 1. That's your block 2. That's your block 3. And that's your block 4. The graphics on your screen at the moment are for the panels and the instructions to make all 4 of these blocks in the Blossom colorway. Remember, you will need to get 2.5 meters of your background fabric. We've got 3 different options of background fabric for you. Oh, so on this one, when you need to check out on the bundle, the code that's just there, which is MGXC62, you'll need to type that into your screen. You can get those there. So that was the Blossoms bundle there, blocks 1 to 4. We've also got the Rainbow bundle, which you'll also need to type the code in as well. The code there is R for Romeo, S for sugar, X for X-ray, C for Charlie, 40. So these are all on the white background. So that's block 1, that's block 2, and then we've got block 3, and finally we've got block 4. So all of those panels, all of the instructions are all available today as a kit all together for £31.96. So that's all available, and you will unfortunately need to type that code in to search for it. The code again is R for Romeo, S for Sierra, X for X-ray, C for Charlie, 40. So please make sure you check that out. We have got 3 different colorways. You've seen me do the white colorway with the background of on the rainbow. We've also got the cream background in our Blossom. But we've also got black as an option here, which you can see the black just works so vividly there. That's the black we've got on the, I think that was block 1, and then this is block 2. You can see the black just works so beautifully on there. It's very dramatic. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of quilting in all this black. So those are the panels that you can get. But you will need to get 2.5 meters of your background fabric. We have, that makes all of the background. So you can see over here, everything that you see that's white, that's what you're going to be able to make with the 2.5 meter packs that we've got available. So the white 2.5, is that black? Oh, there it is, black. If I read, it would be good. So the black colorway there, this is what the black is going to be. You'll get 2.5 meters of that. That's £17.45 for the black. We've also got the cream. So the cream, 2.5 meters, also £17.45. If you want to see what the quilt looks like for the with the cream, we've got the Blossom quilts made in the cream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flick that there. Hopefully I've got this the right way around. I don't. So you can see that is... So you can see this is what the cream looks like. And you can see the background there on the whole quilt. But it works so well on the white, really well on the cream. But I have to say I think the black is my favourite. And then last but not least is our white background. And the white background as well, also 2.5 meters, £17.45 for that as well. And you can see we've used the white background for the rainbow quilt that's hanging up behind me. So you can see this is the white background that we've got in the rainbow colorway. So all three colorways work very, very well. It's such a good price for the fabric as well. So even if you just need some white fabric or black fabric or cream fabric, it's a really great bundle there. So do check out on that. If you have got everything in your basket, please make sure you check out. We've got, oh, we've got Best Press back in. I adore Best Press. You're going to see a lot of that in the next hour with Sally. Best Press, one of the most beautiful products to use. This one is the Lavender Vanilla fragrant one. It's 1 millimetre short of half a litre, £11.99. It is such a fabulous product. We're going to talk more about that in our next hour with Sally. But I'm so pleased we got this back in stock. It's really fabulous. Now, speaking of what's coming up, we've got Sally up in an hour next, but at our 11 o'clock hour, don't forget to have a look on the website for these beautiful owls. They are so adorable, really, really good. And I asked at the 8 o'clock hour, anybody who's got any fleece uses, what you use your fleece to drop us a message, because we've got some beautiful, beautiful fleeces coming in. Oh, we've had some message in from Susan. Morning. She uses hers to make teddy bears. That's such a good idea. And the great thing is this is an anti-pill fleece as well, so it won't pill as you use it for the teddy bears. What a clever idea. Do keep those messages coming through. Easiest way of being able to get in touch with us is studio@sewingstreet.com, failing which our Sewing Street TV Facebook page. Drop us a message from there. We look forward to hearing from you. We're going to get Sally back on now for our Creative Grids Hour. We'll be back in a moment.